Hi guys, it's Cornish Kayak Angler. In my last video, I took a look at the RTM Tempo kayak. It's a fast paddling sit on top that is great for covering distance. And it's also good for kayak fishing as well. However, it's not loaded up as standard with lots of features for fishing. So the guys at RTM, they went back to the drawing board. We want to take the best bits from the Tempo, the speed, the performance, the handling in rough water, but we need to make it better for kayak fishermen. And the result? This kayak here is the RTM Rytmo. So here it is, the RTM Rytmo Angler. It takes a lot of features from the RTM Tempo to give it that excellent performance and speed through the water. It's just over 15 feet long, 4.6 meters. So it's got a really long waterline length, which is brilliant for cutting through the water with decent speed. It's got a width of 72 centimeters, which is about 28 inches. So that's just a touch wider than the Tempo. It gives it just a touch extra stability and a slightly wider seating position. So it's a little better for the larger paddler than the Tempo. Weight wise, yes, it's a bit heavier than the Tempo. There's a bit more plastic in this kayak because of the shaping and moulding of it. You're looking at about 34 kilos, so a touch heavier to maneuver off the water. Maximum load capacity 180 kilos. Now that's rated right up to what the most it can possibly take as a paddler. Perhaps up to about 120 kilos, so that's around 19 stone or so. So yeah, suitable for a larger paddler as well. But overall, the speed and performance is just as fast, and it handles just as well as the Tempo in rough water, coastal waters, and calm water as well. It just glides really well, and yeah, it carries lots of speed. You can typically paddle it anywhere from 4 to 5 knots. You know, even more if you push harder. But yeah, no, it just paddles really well. That makes it great for kayak fishing on the coast, you know, travelling a few miles here and there down the coast with relative ease, or you might want to go a few miles offshore on a nice day. You know, this kayak is more than capable of doing it. And if you want to just go paddling and paddle miles and miles, 10 to 20 miles is no problem on one of these kayaks. It's just got a fantastic hull shape for performance. As mentioned in my last video from the Tempo, born from the original Ocean Kayak Scupper Pro hull design, and there's elements of this carried through right to this kayak here, the RTM Rytmo Angler. So yeah, it's got its roots solidly embedded in kayaks that have fantastic performance and are well loved by many. But yeah, the main advantage with the Rytmo, it's got all that excellent performance. Yeah, it's loaded up with loads of features to make kayak fishing a lot more comfortable on this kayak. So in this video, I'm going to take a look through all those features and the whole design as well, and we'll have a nice close look at this one here, the RTM Rytmo Angler. Okay, so starting at the bow with the Rytmo Angler here, we can take a look at that nice sharp bow design carried forward from the RTM Tempo hull design, found in the Rytmo Angler here as well. That's a bow design, it's just made for cutting through water with ease. You can see it's upswept here as well. That helps it just push up over the choppy waves, and yeah, it helps the kayak ride through it with speed and keep its speed as you're paddling along, even in rough conditions. So yeah, really nice bow design there. And you can also see there's a lip just under there, again carried on from the Tempo, where that will help water deflect away as you're smashing through. Just helps it flick to the side rather than smashing straight up over the front. I mean, you still will get perhaps a little bit over the front in really rough conditions, but it helps. But yeah, that's a bow design really made for cutting through rough coastal waters, and yeah, it's just really great for paddling even in rough conditions. Looking up on top of the bow here, right at the very nose, we've got a drain bung. So that can be unscrewed to allow water to be drained from the hull should you get any inside. You might get a bit of condensation build up, you can drain it out for that point. It's nice that it's at the very bow of the kayak. It's a nice easy point to drain water from, say if it's upside down on your car roof rack. You can just unscrew that, all the water will run down to the end and drip out through this point. Moving back slightly, you come to a bow handle here. Nice grab handle there, rubberized grab handle, just for lifting the kayak or for pulling it along when it's on a trolley. Also integrated into the handle is a little plastic D-ring here on the side. Now there is also one found on the back handle, and you could use it for positioning an anchor trolley to without having to drill into your kayak to fit eyelets to attach the pulleys to. So you could use them for that, although I'm not all that trusting of plastic in an anchoring system to rely on, but it could be used if you're only using it for light use. But personally, I prefer to fit a proper anchor trolley to a kayak, just to be designed for use with heavy loads, typical of when you're anchoring your kayak. So but yeah, there's a clip point there. Moving back further along the bow, there's some deck lines fitted. They run from bow to stern here, make nice easy grab points should you say fall in out of the water and need to grab your kayak. You can easily grab onto these deck lines here. Also quite useful for clipping accessories too. You could clip leashes to it, or if you need to tether your gear off. But yeah, they're fitted to and tied to little recessed fittings in the hull here. It's nice that they're recessed. It stops anything catching on the outside of the hull. It makes it, just gives it that nice streamlined look, which yeah, it makes this kayak look really awesome. Just moving further back along the bow, we come to a large front bow hatch. This really is a decent sized hatch here. That's my hand for sort of comparison, but the hatch lid is leashed to the side there, but yeah, it's a dual density hatch, hard plastic center with soft rubber outer. Makes it very easy to peel off the lid. That's peeled off there. That just stays leashed, but yeah, it opens up to, yeah, really good size area. It actually includes a hatch bucket, which is a really nice feature. Great for storing your gear if you've only got a little bit in the front hatch and you don't want it sort of rolling around in the rest of the hull. You can just pop your little bits and bobs in that hatch bucket. Although if you are going to be storing a trolley in the kayak, you probably want to leave this one out, because then it opens it up to loads of space in the front hatch. It's absolutely loads of space here. And you can also just see some buoyancy foam, and that's fitted down each side of the kayak. Why not show up so well there we go. And also in the center there. Yeah, all kayaks manufactured in France, which is where these RTM kayaks are manufactured. By law, they have to be unsinkable hulls, and to allow for that, they put buoyancy foam in the hull. So say even if the hull was compromised and flooded with water, this foam provides inherent sort of buoyancy within the hull. So even if it got flooded with water, it's not going to completely sink. But yeah, that's what those buoyancy blocks are there for. It's quite a nice little safety feature integrated into the kayak. So yeah, loads and loads of room in this hatch. More than enough space for the popular fold up rail blazer sea tug trolley. So that can be folded up. The wheels, the frame and the pads, whole pads can all fit in there. Even the one version with the Sandtrax wheels, the larger wheels, fits in there with ease. But yeah, you could also fit in there plenty of gear. So if you wanted to go on a weekend camping trip or something, there's plenty enough room in there to store all your gear. So yeah, moving further back, come to the sort of main seating area, footwell area of the kayak. The main feature to point out here is the center tackle console. So this is a hatch where you can store all your tackle. It's held on with a little buckle here. And it's also hinged at this end here. So we can just unclip the buckle, open up, hinges open, nice and easy to hinge open. Inside, you can see the seal. It's a nice soft rubber seal that contacts with a flat lid. It makes a good, nice waterproof seal for this hatch. And yeah, inside, it's got here an adjustable rod holder that's supplied with a kayak. It's a nice little feature. You could bolt it onto the hatch lid if you wanted, or you can attach it to the accessory rails, which I'll talk about in a moment. There's also some slide track fittings in here supplied, which is a nice little touch again. Also a couple of scupper bungs there, one-way valve scupper bungs to use with the scupper holes on the kayak if you did want to plug them up at all. But yeah, the one-way valves where they'll let water drain out but not back up through the scupper holes. And yeah, these scupper holes are designed to let the water drain from the hole should you get waves splashing over, water over. If it ends up pooling in this area, it will just drain straight out through the scupper holes, and they're found at the ends of the footwell and also in the rear tank well as well, which we'll have a look at shortly. Inside the hatch, sort of a two-level hatch. At the top it's a slightly higher section with like a notch and a lip on the ledge, and also some bungee here. It's actually designed to put a small battery in there for a fish finder, and you can sort of bungee it in place to hold it in place. And again, another cool little touch there. But you perhaps want to fit the rest of it perhaps inside the main hull of the kayak if you're doing an in-hull kayak install at all. But yeah, you can store your battery in this center hatch, and there's enough room for maybe a couple of small tackle boxes or a box of lures, your weights, or anything else small that you need to hand right in front of you. You can just pop it in the hatch here. Makes a nice convenient space to grab your gear. But yeah, we can just close that one down there. That buckle just clips into place to keep that hatch lid down against that soft rubber. It's adjustable if you need to tighten it, and creates a nice waterproof seal. But this lid here, it's a good place to mount a fish finder. You can easily bolt a fish finder mount here, and you get it, as I mentioned, if you want to store your battery or even fit your transducer inside the hull of this kayak, you could, you know, fit a cable seal up here to wire or run the wires through to the inside of the kayak. There's quite a good bit of flat space here. I previously owned a RTM Rytmo, and I fitted a ram ball here with a 1.5-inch ball to run a rod rest off at the front here. So yeah, there's flat areas here and at the side if you need to add accessories. It's nice to have big flat areas to bolt these mounts to, or sections of slide track or the like. But yeah, moving, well, either side of the footwell area, you can see the adjustable footrests. These are sort of pivoting footrests, perfect for putting it at various positions to get a nice into a comfortable paddling position. Easily adjusted just by this tab here. You flick it up at 90 degrees, you can then move it along, the footrest along wherever you need it, and then lock it back into position once it's set. These pivots, so they automatically adjust to the angle of your feet, which is quite nice. They can also be used in conjunction with a rudder kit if you are adding a rudder to this kayak, so you can set it up so that as you tilt the rudders, the pedals, it will turn the rudder at the back of the kayak. So yeah, that can be used for a rudder system as well. And then either side again, we've got accessory rails or slide tracks. Nice for adding accessories to your kayak without having to drill into the plastic of the kayak itself. And there's loads of accessories out there on the market that you can add to these slide tracks, from the likes of Railblazer, Scotty, Ram Mounts, Yak Attack and more. They all do T-track accessories which can be attached to these rails here. It allows you to easily add and remove them as you want, or reposition them as you want. That's quite a nice feature there, that the rails are there. Makes it nice and easy to add accessories, such as the rod holder from RTM that was included, and it comes with slide track fittings. You could bolt that onto the slide tracks, and it's a nice adjustable rod holder for say trolling lures behind the kayak. Also integrated into the side, the bungee here with a little bungee button, and that's a paddle holder. It's a really long paddle holder. It's really good. A lot of kayaks have tiny little bungee paddle holders, and it doesn't really hold a paddle, you know, really securely. But having a long section of bungee over a long area of the paddle shaft, it really does hold the paddle much better. There is a groove in the side of this hull for the paddle shaft to sit in, and it does offer a good secure paddle holder there for when you're fishing. I'll just point out at the very ends of these slide tracks here, there is a little grommet and that's got a little tube, well, it leads to a tube that runs to the back of the kayak for rudder lines to run through. So yeah, this kayak is rudder ready, set up with all the tubing already pre-installed into the hull with these footrests. You literally just have to add a rudder at the end and run the cabling or the wire through to the adjustable footrest and set up an uphaul and downhaul system. So you can add a rudder system very easily to this, and RTM do supply one if required, or you can add universal rudders, but yeah, nice and easy to add to this kayak. Okay, a little further back, just in front of the seat, there's a rubber circular hatch here, and that just peels open. Again, it's leashed on a sort of section of rubber here, opens up to a little hatch bag. Nice little hatch bag there. It's got a drawstring adjustable top. Yeah, good for, again, storing small essentials. You might want to pop your car keys in there whilst you're out in the water. You could pop your mobile phone in there, perhaps in another dry bag, or just a few small bits of tackle or some food. But yeah, nice little storage area there. It's nice that the hatch is raised right up off the deck as well, so that helps prevent a lot of water or any water trying to get through to this, even though it's got a nice waterproof soft rubber hatch which will keep a lot of the water out. Yeah, you can pull that hatch bag out and gain full access to the inside of the kayak if you needed even more storage again. But yeah, that can just pop back on there. It's a nice easy on off hatch, that one. Nice soft rubber. Either side of the seating area, just in front of the seating area, we've got these side pockets here with nice rubberized mesh to stop whatever you're popping in there falling out. Yeah, good for perhaps popping a lure or two in there, or your weights whilst you're tackling up, or maybe a set of pliers or a small fillet knife can pop in there nice and easily. So yeah, nice little feature there. And one thing I will point out, this kayak lacks on the side is side handles. It hasn't got proper sort of side handles that you can grip on the Rytmo, but these recesses here allow you to get a really good grip anyway. It almost acts like a handle. So yeah, you can use that to pick the kayak up at its center weight for lifting up onto a roof rack. Just come back to the main seating position of the kayak. I've just popped one of the feel-free deluxe seats in here, but there's 4 D-ring fixed points, 2 at the front, 2 at the back. You can fit any 4-point adjustable seat in there, but this feel-free deluxe seat seems to work quite well in this kayak. It's a nice shaped seating area. It's sort of molded and contoured, so it's nice and comfortable for sitting on for many hours. And at the very front of the seating area, there's 2 sort of recessed dips. They're not scupper holes, they're actually positions where you can place one of the raised frame seats, which RTM do offer. It's called their premium chair. So if you want a chair that's raised off the deck, it gives you a higher seat sort of centre of gravity. You sit up higher, it's a slightly drier ride. Yeah, the fronts of it sit in these dips. It clips down to this little D-ring attachment point here, and the back of the chair sits in some grooves which are just beside the seat there. I have tried the RTM Rytmo with the premium chair. It does raise your centre of gravity quite a bit. It's nice and comfortable, but on a reasonably narrow kayak can make it feel a little bit tippier. So I personally prefer this style seat, where you can get a nice low centre of gravity, which offers a lot of stability to the hull. And moving just back from the seat, come to some flush mounted rod holders. Yeah, just positioned just behind the seating area. They've got these rubber caps on, you can pop on and off if needed. But yeah, they're just nicely positioned behind the seat, nice and easy to access your rods, good for holding them whilst you're paddling, or whilst you're, say, trolling a lure behind the kayak. And there's some flatter areas behind the seat again. Again, you could bolt accessories here, you could add extra rod holders and bits, camera mount, if you wanted to bolt a camera mount on, it can fit there. Little D-ring here as well as a clip point if you need to say clip down a crate. And in the tank well of this kayak, it's quite a decent size rear cargo area, rear tank well. It's got a nice boxed off section molded into it, and that allows you to pop a small crate in there for storing your fishing gear. And that was a bit of a downside with the Tempo. It had a big rounded tank well, and a crate didn't quite sit comfortably in there. But with the Rytmo, yeah, updated the cargo area design. It allows you to pop a crate in there nice and securely, and you can clip it down to the clip points if needed. And there's some more bungees here with a little clip point. You can clip tackle boxes in here just behind the seat. And there's some scupper holes there for drainage, and there's recesses within the cargo area to allow it to all drain through that low point there. Just I will point out at the very back of the seat, there's these two little black plastic sort of collars with sort of recesses in the hole there. I'm not entirely sure what they're for, but they could be used for you could put a flagpole in there or something like that. It could be clamped in that position. I expect it might be for storing a scupper cart trolley, but with scupper cart trolleys I wouldn't necessarily recommend them for these longer sit on tops. You can end up damaging your scupper holes on your kayak. You can get a lot of pressure on the scupper holes with metal rods poking through them, especially with a fully laden fishing kayak. So yeah, the better types of trolleys for the fishing kayaks are the types like the sea tug trolley, where the kayak sits on top of the trolley. Yeah, it's much more secure, and it's nice because there's center weight. You can place the trolley at the center weight of the hull, so it's all nicely balanced over the wheels, and it makes it easier for your trolleying. There's a couple of brass molded inserts here either side of the tank well. They can be used with the RTM stabilizer kit. You can bolt on stabilizers if you wanted to make this kayak more stable, but yeah, that's what they're there for. Yeah, moving towards the back of the tank well here, there's a funny recessed area in the back. It's designed to pop in two small wheels that can be fitted to the back of this kayak. And at the very stern underneath, you can see a little hole through the hull. And RTM sell a little wheel kit that clips in the back. To be honest, I think they're fairly useless. It's no good having wheels at the very stern of a kayak. You're putting a lot of pressure on your stern with all the weight up front, and it's not balanced. You're having to pick up the whole weight of the kayak onto its stern, whereas if you use a trolley, like I mentioned, a sea tug under the center weight of the kayak in the middle position, it's all nicely balanced over the wheels, so when you pick that handle up, it's all perfectly balanced and it feels featherweight to pick up. So yeah, a bit of a pointless area there in my opinion, but yeah, they can be used for the RTM wheels if you did want to add those at all. Yeah, coming back to the very stern of the kayak, we've got a rubberized handle again, carry handle, and underneath that there are some molded brass inserts again. They're actually designed for use with one of the Torpedo ultralight motor mounts, the ball mounts. You can bolt it on that position and have a lightweight motor off the back here. But yeah, that's integrated into the design if anyone ever wanted to add a little electric motor to this kayak. At the very stern, it's a nice sharp stern design again, very nice. It's going to slice through the water really well and not create too much drag. And on top we can see a hole straight through the hole. That's for the rudder pin. If you do add a rudder to this kayak, you can easily add one there. And there's also the grommets there again, where the tubing runs through the inside of the hole to route the rudder cabling through. Yeah, that's the main features there of the RTM Rytmo. We'll have a quick look at the underside of the kayak now, and have a look at what makes this cut through the water so well. So looking at the underside of the RTM Rytmo, you can see that nice sharp bow design with those lips which help deflect water away from splashing over the top of the hull. And looking right down the keel line, you can see there's a V in the keel, and that helps this kayak track straight, right in a straight line, gives it lots of resistance from turning off of its course of travel. And that's also helped with these tracking grooves, tracking channels, which run down the side of this central keel bulge with that V at the very center. And yeah, it just all gives this whole resistance to turning off its direction of travel, and that's what helps this kayak fly through the water. Once you get it up to speed, it's just going. It's really great kayak for paddling fast and getting somewhere fast. And yeah, it just sort of slowly comes out to the almost the main width of the kayak. Starts from about the end of the footwell, which is where the scupper holes are here. There's a fair bit of width through to the back of the seating area. Yeah, I mentioned it's about 28 inches wide. It's not a bad width to provide a decent amount of stability, even though it's a really fast kayak. It's not completely tippy. You know, some people in the Tempo can find that just a touch tippy. That one is a bit narrower at 26 inches, but yeah, the Rytmo at 28, it just seems to have that little bit extra to provide a little bit more comfort whilst you're paddling, even for the slightly larger paddler as well. And yeah, the sides of this kayak, they just curve round nicely, pretty much all the way through to the deck side. And nice rounded sides provide a lot of what's called secondary stability. And secondary stability is what you want in the rough conditions, when the waves are hammering you and you're getting buffered about quite a lot. Nice curved sides helps the hull hold itself in those conditions, and it will feel more stable than some of the bigger, often wider, higher sided kayaks in such conditions. And yeah, it gives you that reassuring comfort and stability even when the conditions kick up and you've got to get back to shore quickly. Yeah, even if you're charging through a fair amount of chop or into a headwind where conditions are really against you, a hull design like this or like that found in the RTM Tempo is just going to make you feel more comfortable, and you'll certainly be getting back to shore quicker than you would in a slightly wider kayak or kayaks that have steeper, chunkier sides. So yeah, this kayak really is designed for ease of paddling and cutting through the water. Just having a look at the underside of the scupper holes here, you can see these little raised sections just before the scupper holes. What these do is they force the water over and cause lower pressure behind, and effectively what that does, it helps slurp water out from the scupper holes, helps drain the footwells as you're paddling along. It's what's called the Venturi effect. But yeah, nice little feature integrated into the kayak. You don't see that on many kayaks, and it's only a little touch, but it's not, yeah, it just helps. It's going to help create that pressure over the scupper to help slurp water out from the deck side. And yeah, you find that on the scupper holes on this kayak. And there is only 4 scupper holes. There's 2 at the front of the footwell, 2 in the cargo area. And having very little holes under the kayak, it reduces drag. Again, it just adds to the speed and performance you get from this hull. Also, on this particular scupper hole, there's a couple of brass inserts in sort of a shaped area. You can use those as an attachment point for a transducer. You can fit a little bracket there or something to cable tie your transducer to, but I set mine up with a Raymarine Dragonfly transducer here. But yeah, you can do that. It gives you the option there to do it, or you could glue a transducer inside the hull using an in-hole transducer installation method. I've covered that in a previous video, and if you want to check out how to do that, hit the link above here. Yeah, moving towards the back of the hull, again there's those scuppers with the raised sections forwards of the scupper to create the Venturi effect. Yeah, we move right to the back of the kayak. It just goes right in, gets really skinny at the stern. It's going to create minimal drag. So that water flying past, it's just leaving it without much drag, so it's going to help it fly through the water. But yeah, really great hull design, born from that RTM Tempo hull design. It is very similar, just with a slight bit more shaping to the hull, but yeah, very similar to the RTM Tempo. And the RTM Tempo near identical to the Ocean Kayak Scupper Pro hull design, an iconic sit on top kayak, one of the originals designed for performance and ease of paddling. And yeah, this kayak's got its roots firmly embedded in that great design. So that's an overview of the RTM Rytmo Angler. A really great fishing kayak for those of you wanting to cover distance quickly. It's got a fantastic hull design just to cut through the water really well and handle those rougher coastal conditions. And that's thanks to the hull design being derived from that of the RTM Tempo. And the Tempo is also a really great kayak, but not necessarily designed specifically for fishing. It's quite a blank hull design, not many features. This is where the Rytmo comes in. It's got all the speed and performance and rough water handling you get with the Tempo, but it's got some really nice features to make kayak fishing that much more comfortable and easy. So it's got that nice tackle hatch just in front of the seat to store all your gear in, nice adjustable footrests, accessory slide tracks so you can add your bits and bobs really easily, rod holders, fish finder mount, etc. It's got a dedicated space in the rear cargo area for a fishing crate, so you can store your fishing gear just behind you there. Nice big bow hatch as well. You can add a rudder kit to this kayak for even more performance in windier, rougher conditions. But yeah, overall a really great kayak for coastal kayak fishing, more than capable of doing say 10 to 20 mile sessions, paddling sessions, fishing sessions. Also great for popping offshore for a few miles on a nice day. This kayak's more than capable of doing it. And I owned one for about 18 months, absolutely loved it. I came from the Tempo and wanted something that had all these extra features on. When RTM released this Rytmo, I had the first one in the UK, used it for 18 months and absolutely loved it. One of my favourite kayaks still. Only reason I've no longer got the Rytmo or using it is because I opted to start using the Hobie pedal kayaks, which have a number of advantages for kayak fishing on top of the paddling kayaks, which you just don't get with a paddle kayak. But no, still one of my favourite paddled fishing kayaks. Great quality too, manufactured in France. And if you're after getting hold of one in the UK, check out Cornwall Canoes. They're a stockist of the RTM kayaks and the Rytmo and the Tempo. And yeah, I've popped a link in the description of this video. So if you want to check out how you can buy one of these or for some more info, be sure to check out Cornwall Canoes. And yeah, hope you found this video helpful, guys. As always, any questions, pop them below in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. And make sure you hit subscribe on my channel. There'll be plenty more kayak overviews and videos coming just like this. And it's all to help you guys make the choice when it comes to you choosing your fishing kayak. So yeah, we've had a good close look at this, and this kayak may be the one for you. Okay guys, so make sure you hit like on the video and thanks for watching.